Hey, what is going on, Cowboys Nation? It's Cowboys Chats from the car. I'm your host, Ben Grimaldi, and today we're talking about a win over the New York Giants on Monday Night Football for the Dallas Cowboys. And no, it wasn't always pretty, and that seems to be the theme with the Cowboys recently, aside from the Eagles win the last few weeks. The Cowboys haven't been playing clean football, but somehow they got it done. And last night, it was a few things. It was Dak Prescott playing his best football in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line. It was also the play of Sean Lee, and the defensive line became a little bit of a menacing group with Tank Lawrence, with Robert Quinn, and with Michael Bennett, who had a sack and 4 hits on the quarterback. So already he's paying dividends for the Dallas Cowboys on that defensive line, doing exactly what they needed him to do. So let's go through a few of these things here, a few observations from the game. One, like we said, Dak Prescott got off to a rough start, but he came back around. He found his rhythm. He had a couple more drops, which continue to plague the Cowboys, and especially Randall Cobb. But in the fourth quarter, when things got tight, when the Cowboys turned the game around and the Giants kicked a field goal to get within a point, the Cowboys buckled down, and it became Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was very impressive in the fourth quarter, throwing 2 touchdown passes to give the Cowboys the lead, and then to extend the lead late in the game to essentially seal it. So Dak Prescott played his best football in the fourth quarter. It seems like that happens a lot. So good for Dak Prescott. Also, I thought Sean Lee played one heck of a game. It seems to me that he needs to be in a rhythm. He can't be a 15-20 play a game player, even though he can be effective in that role, and the Cowboys used him in that when Van Der Esch and Smith and Thomas are all healthy. But it seems to me like he gets into a rhythm and he plays better football. I know that eventually that catches up to Sean Lee with the injury history, but when he gets into a rhythm, he's still a really, really good football player for the Cowboys. They're lucky to have him. And then the menacing defensive line. I just talked about the big three, but then Malik Collins also got a sack, and he was pressuring Daniel Jones a lot of the game too. So this is what you want out of those defensive linemen who you're rotating, number one, and then number two, you can come at them not only in ways, but with Lawrence. You can't double team him and Quinn and Michael Bennett, because all three had a menacing game against the Giants last night, and they harassed Daniel Jones pretty much all night long. Dorrance Armstrong even got in the action with a strip sack fumble that Jordan Lewis returned for a touchdown. And as always, Jordan Lewis makes plays. He's always around the football, regardless of what you think. Hey, he didn't make a lot of plays in the game, but he's always around the ball. So on a team that has an issue creating turnovers, Jordan Lewis continues to find himself around the ball. And speaking of turnovers, Xavier Woods had one heck of a game. The interception and then the return that gave the Cowboys the momentum at the end of the first half, and the play to cause Daniel Jones' fumble to get the ball back to the Cowboys, which resulted in points too. So Xavier Woods, who needs Jamal Adams, right? Xavier Woods had as many turnovers last night as Jamal Adams has had in this season. So without Adams, Xavier Woods continues to thrive. So the Cowboys, it was, like we said, it wasn't pretty, but I think they're starting to find a little bit of a footing here, because it feels like Travis Frederick has gotten himself back into shape and playing football again. He's gotten to a little bit of rhythm. It feels like Ezekiel Elliott is now getting into a rhythm on the offense. So with the offensive line starting to come together a little bit, with Frederick taking over and Elliott looking like a sprier, more energized in the last few weeks. This Cowboys offense is going to be tough to stop if they hold on to the ball. And if Amari Cooper can stay healthy, he got banged up again a little bit last night. But overall, a great win for the Cowboys. When you win on the road, it's always huge. The Cowboys still undefeated in the NFC East, and if you win the NFC East, you go to the playoffs. That's always the goal, so they take down another division rival. So there are things to clean up. The penalties, the kickoff unit it was horrendous last night. I know the refs weren't great, but the Cowboys still need to cut down on those penalties, and they need to be better in their special teams units, especially kickoff coverage. So Big win for the Cowboys. We'll see what's going on moving forward in the week. Let's see what happens with the injuries and practice reports throughout the week. But the Cowboys get to 5-3 at the halfway mark here in the season. They get a big win against the Vikings coming up. So this has been Cowboys Chats from the Car with your host, Ben Grimaldi. You can find me on Twitter at Ben Grimaldi, as well as writing for the CowboysWire.com and CowboysNation.com. Thanks, guys.